Welcome to the Creative REI podcast, your go-to hub for all things real estate, business, life, travel, etc. I'm your host, Dante, joined by my co-host, Ed, both real estate professionals on a mission to connect and educate. This podcast is sponsored by PropStream, the most trusted provider of comprehensive real estate data nationwide. What's poppin', everybody? It's the Creative REI Experience. I'm your host, Dante Pena. It's your boy, Eddie Nava. Today's episode is brought to you by PropStream, the #1 trusted source in data for real estate data nationwide. We got a special guest for y'all today, man. Give it up for serial entrepreneur, crypto professional, keynote speaker, online influencer. The list goes on. My guy, I'm probably making him embarrassed by hyping him up so much. My guy, Tino.
Hey, thank you.
You can find him on Instagram, Sharktino. If you guys are on live right now, stay tuned on the live. We're going to be giving out free game, free gifts, $5,000 worth of stuff at the end to whoever is still watching. So enjoy that. Tino, tell me a little bit about yourself, man. You started off doing sales.
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to say thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for coming.
You and Ed, great people. Yeah. You know, and I want to say this, I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers out there, but I've been on a lot of podcasts, right? And most of the podcasts out there are just kind of like the same boring shit. Right. Okay. Like it's always the same thing. Like, oh, I had this deal and just network, talk to people, right? And it's like,
talk about that too, though.
Right. Then there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not the shit that gets you paid. That's not the shit that like really progresses your life, your lifestyle, your way of thinking, your foundation, your inner core. And so like, I mean, to give back, like you guys have your own business and to give back and do something like this, I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me and you guys should, feel proud and also just grateful that you're in a position to be able to do shit like this.
Straight up.
So to all of you guys out there that are watching, they don't charge for this. Soak up game, listen to what they're saying, and also just give them a round of applause out there. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hey, give us some clap emojis on the live.
Some clap emojis. Drop some clap emojis.
Hey,
send this live to any and everybody that you care about.
Matter of fact, the more you send it to, the better chance you have of winning something, because then you can just partner up with your friend and do
absolutely
some stuff as well.
Send it to people that you care about. I hate to say, hey, send this to all your followers. Like that's cool. I have a lot of followers. I like 1.4 million or something like that. No offense. I do care about all of them, but I don't love all of them. Right. But anybody that you love, send this to, because we are going to be giving away to 2 lucky people, $5,000 worth of game and stuff that you can truly put into play in your business today. And also I'm going to hop on a phone call with the 2 people that win individually, an hour each, right? Go over business, marketing,
$1,000
sales,
value, by the way,
whatever you need.
Know that.
Yeah, I charge $1,000 per hour. So I want to do that just to give away, give back to the Creative REI community, because they're such a good community and they really do care about their people. So again, now I can get back into it.
It works if you work it.
There it is.
One thing about this guy, Kay, aside of all the social media stuff that y'all see, he's genuinely a good guy, right? And the conversations that you really want to be a part of are the ones that you don't see people always talking about in social media. It's the raw and the rare stuff that you see. And I find those to be the most high level conversations that you can have. And so the only way to do that is being around these type of people.
Absolutely.
And figuring out a way to get in the room.
100%.
If you can get in the room and have these high level conversations, I promise you, it'll forever change your life.
Facts. Changed my life.
Tino started off in sales, but before you were in sales, you were in the military.
Absolutely. So I'm actually born and raised here in San Diego.
Hey.
So this is I was telling you guys before we started, I feel so good to be back home. Like, so good. Like,
that was like me with Dallas.
Oh man. It's just something about driving around your own hood.
Yeah.
Like your old hood. I went to my grandma's house in fucking Imperial Beach. Like, driving here. Oh, Like my first elementary crush was right here. I still remember her.
By chance, your grandma interested in selling her Imperial?
Honestly, I wish she was. Because I would love for her to come and live with me and, you know, take care of her. But she cares. She's one of those Mexican women who like
does it on her own.
She wants to like help all the nieces and nephews. I got 17 cousins, actually 19 cousins now, and a bunch of nephews and nieces, and she wants to like be mom to everyone.
She's the
glue that holds it together, right? 100%.
Like my grandmother.
And I always ask her like, hey, why don't you sell it, move, and just get rid of all this headache you have with all these people. Like some of our family, you know, just like everybody has a story, right? Like most of my family is like cholos and gangsters and doing in and out of jail and stuff and not doing good. And some of them do good, but nonetheless, like I tell her, hey, move out. And she's like, no, mijo, I want a place that everyone can come to if they need to. You know, it's always here. And she's been in that house for over 60 years. It's crazy. God bless her.
Damn, 60.
60, bro.
She got my grandma beat by like 5. My grandma moved into her house in 74. They bought it for $30,000 in Oceanside.
That's, bro, she paid like, I think it was like $35K or $40K.
And this is Imperial Beach.
Yeah.
That's what Oceanside used to be. R.I.P. to Oceanside.
But just
Army.
Yeah, Army. So after high school, so my stepdad he was in the Navy. He was stationed here forever, did his West Packs and all that good stuff. Okay. After he got out, we sold a condo that we had here in Chula Vista, and it was paid off. So we moved to Phoenix, to actually Goodyear, and I went there my senior year of high school, about a semester and a half. The last you know, so it was kind of hard for me moving out there, not knowing anybody. I'm like 16 years old, you know, graduated at 17 or whatever. After I did ROTC out here at Mar Vista in Imperial Beach for 3 years, and then I did a year of Air Force ROTC in Agua Fria in Phoenix.
Damn. So you already trained for the military before you joined?
I wanted to join the military. I actually wanted to be a Marine. All right, so I wanted to be a Marine.
Why did that not happen? Oh, we'll get
crazy
there.
story. I'm gonna get to it real fast, and I'll breeze over it because I can fucking talk. So I'm gonna breeze through it.
I got so many questions already.
I'm gonna breeze through it. So check this out. So I get a job, right? Because I wanted a cell phone, and I was like, hey, if you want a cell phone, you have to pay for it. So I'm like in high school, I'm like, all right, I'll get a job. So I get a job at Bash's, which is kind of what Lucky is here. Lucky's. Do they still have Lucky's here?
No, but
Albertsons. Yeah, dude, I'm old. I'm 37.
Wow. So Lucky's turned into Albertsons.
Albertsons. Yeah.
They got bought out by Albertsons, and then Albertsons and I want to say CVS.
They merged?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So
I do remember
Lucky's. Yeah, that was my shit, bro. Yeah, I'm old.
Wow.
I'm old as fuck.
I'm like nostalgic.
I'm 37. So, anyways, I started working at the grocery store, and I did it for about 2 weeks, and literally it was just to pay my cell phone. Graduated high school, and my mom wouldn't let me join the Marines. She wouldn't. She's like, you can join the Air Force. That's it, because it's like perceived as the safest, right? They're not out there supposedly, you know, to the normie. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I signed up for the Air Force, but before I actually signed up, they're like, the delay entry program is gonna be like 9 months. You have to wait 9 months. I'm like, 9 months. I have to bag groceries in fucking real carts, like for 9 months. And as I was leaving, I went one day to meet with the Air Force recruiter. It was like the 3rd time we were meeting. And I remember walking with my mom because they were gone for the day. It was like fucking 1 p.m. So we're leaving, and the Army recruiter pokes his head out. He's like, hey, man, come over here. Come over here. Mom was like, no.
Oh, he caught you.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh,
cell phone guys.
Yeah.
What kind of phone you got?
Yeah. They're like, hey, boss, let me clean your off-whites. You know, the dudes at the kiosk, right? So like we started talking or whatever. And before you know it, Mom was like, oh, well, I want him to do intelligence, yada, yada, because he's very smart. He did it. Meanwhile, I graduated with a 1.8 GPA.
Damn.
Like, yeah. But I was really smart. It was just like boredom. Like I even failed PE one time because I didn't want to suit up, get all sweaty, and then have to fucking put my clothes back on and go back to school. But long story short, I joined the Army, and I left like 45 days later. And I started doing Intel for 1.5 years. And then I went SF. I did SF for 5.5 years. And I got to travel the world. I got to see all types of cool stuff. And
what was your favorite place you traveled? I like asking people that.
Honestly, it was Iraq.
Damn.
Iraq was my favorite place I traveled. I think it was really beautiful before we fucked it up. And the people there are they're incredible people. I traveled around the world, and those are still some of my favorite people. I'll say that. I'm still friends with some of them actually that I met out there, civilian people, not even military affiliated people. But I did that for a little bit over 7 years, and then the needs of the Army start knocking on the door. It's like a SF bonus. It's like you have to sign up for minimum 20 years, like needs of the Army. And some of my friends were doing it, but I started losing a lot of battle buddies to war, obviously. And, you know, from the 7 years I was in, I was gone over like 4. It's like 4 years. And like, so for me, it was like
on tour, you mean?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, in theater. So like for me, it's like, okay, when's my time? You know what I mean? And believe it or not, like I was telling these guys last night, because they're my best friends, I'm like, hey, you know, we were talking about Iraq a little bit and stuff, because I reckon like this is a huge Navy town and Marines, right?
This is like 3 large bases.
Right.
4.
What do you got? Camp Pendleton. You got
Miramar,
Coronado, Miramar,
and then Coronado's
North Island.
SEALs,
North Island.
I think National City has the Navy base.
Yeah, I think that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
But
yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
And we're at the cigar lounge yesterday before the hookah lounge, and I'm like, oh, those guys are in the service, and they're like, how do you know? I'm like, I could tell. I could tell. Like, and one of them had a beard. I'm like, that guy's like probably a SEAL. No, or he's a SEAL. Oh, like there's a bit, and you can tell he's like kind of built and stuff, and he has the shoes, the tennis shoes, like the SOCOM shoes, the operator tennis shoes. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I know that guy's SEAL. And then my friend's like, how, you could really tell? I'm like, yeah. So we go up and we're putting the ashtray back and the drinks. We had a couple of Stella Artois, and I look over and he's paying for his cigars and shit. And I'm like, look at his cards. And he looks at his card, and like right on the front, it's a military ID. And I was like, got him. So long story short, I did that, and it was time for me to get out, man. And I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I met a plastic surgeon when I was over there who was doing not ass and titties, right? He was doing ass and titties here in the United States, but over there he was helping burn victims, disfigurements, reconstructive surgery. And so like that really motivated me to get back to the real world, go to college on you know, through Uncle Sam, the GI Bill, and do that, do more so reconstructive plastic surgery. So eventually I got out, and I was going to move back to San Diego and go to SDSU. And I started looking at, or UCSD, excuse me. I got accepted there, and I was looking at the, like moving into an apartment out here, and bro, it was like fucking like a closet, bro. It was like a closet, 490 square feet or 480 square feet, and was like,
for the size of what you had to pay for.
Yeah, dude. I was like, what?
Sounds
like,
about right.
Yeah, bro. So I was like, fuck this. And my mom's like, hey, she always said, when you got out of the Army, like, I want you to spend a year with me, mijo, like at home. I was a mama's boy. So I got out. I'm like, all right, fuck it. We'll do that. I'll stack my paper. And I got out of the Army, and for like 6 months, I was like, day trading. Like I learned how to trade, and I thought I was like
reading charts and
shit. Fib retracements, clouds, all that stuff, right? TA, FA. And then long story short, that didn't work out. I lost like most of the money that I had saved up in the Army and going on tours on trading. I bought this pink sheet. Like anybody knows what pink sheets are, like penny stocks. They're like high risk, high reward. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was way before the movie, by the way. This is like in 2011, November,
probably
December.
Not before when he was doing it, but before the movie was
exactly. And I thought, I was like, fuck, dude, like I'm about to be rich, you know? Because the Army don't pay that well. So like one of my friends, he was like, yo, invest in this. It's called Pro Elite. It's like a UFC competitor, and they're gonna have an event in Hawaii and all this stuff, and they got like really good promotions. Yep.
So it's another MMA competitor like Bellator?
Yeah, exactly. What? So, but it was called Pro Elite X. And they had like a small show, and then they were gonna have like a big kickoff in Hawaii. And long story short, like, dude, I dumped all my money into that, and like within, I want to say, fuck, bro, like 3 months, it was
like Emiliano, but with the record label.
It was all gone.
Kind of, yeah. Similar story.
That's very similar.
Really?
We had a realtor in here. He wanted to do like he was doing like the Napster thing.
Oh,
like he was buying into
peer-to-peer sharing.
Yeah, that's what he called it. Peer-to-peer sharing.
Peer-to-peer file sharing. Yeah.
Or like LimeWire.
I'm a nerd, dude. I'm a nerd. Like
LimeWire back in the day. He's not old enough.
He's like LimeWire. He's like, what's Kazaa? iMesh. I know all those things, bro. All those things that gave you fucking viruses on your computer, right?
Hey, so you know your age is showing it.
Pirate Bay. Yeah. Torrents. Torrents were like the upgraded version. Yeah. But long story short, I'm like, all right, I need to go to college. And I started going to college just so I can have some money coming in, because I fucking went broke like from that terrible investment, you know. Well,
okay,
I learned from it. I learned from it. Yeah, failure. Yeah, early on for sure. Like and that. I ended up going to school, getting my GI Bill in order, and I had some income coming in. I was like, oh my God, thank God. And during summer school, I'm like, I need to get a job, bro. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm just working out all day. I'm drinking all day. I fell into alcoholism really bad when I got in the Army, because all the shit that you compartmentalize when you're in, and you don't get to talk about really, because then they put you in the rear with the gear. I actually had time to think about it. So I fell into alcoholism, and me and my brother would just play fucking Call of Duty all day and hang out, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get a job. He's like, it's hard to get a job right now, the economy, you know, all this bullshit. I'm like, the only reason why people can't get jobs is because they don't want to get uncomfortable or do something that they're not used to, right? Absolutely.
There's a will, there's a way, but it's not, you know what, most of my gigs I got was from knowing somebody.
Right. And that's huge. I want to touch on that in a little bit. That's huge. But I pulled up the iPad, and it was the old iPad with the big ass white bars around it. Yeah, first gen. Yeah. Huge. It's like this big, but the screen's only like this big. And I went to Craigslist, because back then, now my age is showing, you could find jobs on Craigslist. Yeah. So the first one that came up was like the car business, and it was like guaranteed $6,000, guaranteed, right?
Guaranteed
during training.
What year was this,
dude? Just wait. This was in 2012, beginning of 2012. So I sign up, right? And then I set up the interview, and then I go in, and the first guy's like, oh, I don't know. We only hire experienced salespeople, but you are a veteran. I have a soft spot. I was in the Marines. Yeah. You know, I'm like, all right, cool. So he gave me a shot, and the $6,000 a month, it was like $6,000 guaranteed 3 months.
Oh, it was the listing bonus.
Yes. But no. It's even fucking better. It's even better. It's $6,000 a month for 3 months, but it's $6,000 divided by 3 months. So it's $2,000 a month. And then after that, $6,000 is nothing. Yeah, so I'm like,
make it through the whole. Okay.
Yeah, so they fucking hoodwinked the shit out of me, but you know me, it's good marketing. What do they call those? Bait and switch. Those crazy car salesmen.
We'll give you a free phone.
Yeah, if you buy a car at our price, you'll get a free big screen TV and a PS5, and they just made like $12,000 on you, right? Fucking spend $1,000 on you. Here, there you go, happy customer. But long story short, I ended up getting the job. I ended up my first month selling half a car. The way you sell half a car, they don't sell them, right? But if I bring a customer and he knows what to do with it and the paperwork, it's like a JV. You
split the half.
And then you split the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I used to sell phones, you get the newbies. They didn't know how to close the people. So they tried to explain the plans. They couldn't. I come in and we split it, the commission.
100%. Okay. Yep. And so the second month I was going to go to school. Actually, I got hired. It was an interview process of like 4 interviews to get into JP Morgan Chase to become a financial advisor. Like you start off as a PB, and then like you build a relationship for 3 months. They teach you the ropes, and then from there you go to school, get your series licenses. Okay. And I got the job, and it was like a $50,000 guaranteed fucking salary plus commission, right? I was like, hell yeah, mama, I made it. You know what I'm saying? And I went and I talked to, I went in to quit, and the car guy fucking closed me. Michael Knapp. He's like, hey, dude, you're very talented.
He talked you into keeping your job?
He talked me into fucking keeping my job, dude. After selling half a fucking car my first month. I'm like, dude, these motherfuckers know something. You know what I mean?
Where is this guy today?
He actually owns a company today that does marketing for car dealerships, and I own one as well. So I'm going to talk about that here later. Cool. But long story short, I stayed. He's like, just get both feet in, just be all in on this, right? And I fucking went in on it, and it took off for me. I went from making fucking half a car deal to making 8 cars to making 12 cars, and then the money went from like, okay, $3,000 to $5K to fucking $7K to $10K to $14K, and then at that point I'm like, dude, I hit a glass ceiling. Like, I'm working every single day. I'm only taking 2 days off a month.
You don't get to enjoy your money.
Yeah, dude. It was terrible. Like, I'm like, dude, I'm working so many hours. How do I get to the next level where I don't have to work harder, but smarter, right? And so I always say this. I learned this throughout my career is like, sometimes you got to quit to get promoted.
You take 1 step back, take 2 steps forward.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or sometimes you quit and you take 3 steps forward, just for the simple fact that, like, let's say you're crushing in your position, right? And I'm like, you're like, hey, Tino, I want to get promoted, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, Dante, like, I can't really afford to take you off the floor because then now I'm losing 15, 20 cars a month. Right. and I'm having to train you to do this next position, and there's a learning curve there, right? So I'm losing both sides. So that's kind of what happened. And then I got recruited. Some guy came, he's a headhunter, came for Berkshire Hathaway. He came and pretended to want to buy a car from me. And he knew my name already. It was kind of weird. We went on a test drive, and he's like, "Hey, man, I want to take you to Red Lobster." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
So test drive turned into lunch date?
We went to Red Lobster, and bro, it was a used Volkswagen Jetta EOS. It was like a convertible. God, ugly, dude. It was like baby blue with white interior.
Like, he probably doesn't want to buy that.
Right. This dude showed up in a Lexus, but he wants to buy this, right? So I didn't know any better.
That. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah,
okay,
what the fuck is it? Am I gonna get caught in a fucking sexual trafficking ring right now? I'm about to get fucking.
It's like red flags.
Right. Red flags. So long story short, we went to Red Lobster, and he's like, "Hey, dude, this is what I can offer you. Blah blah blah. Like, we know you're crushing it, and for this auto group, we want to hire you." So it's the big leagues. It was for Van Tuyl Auto Group, big leagues. They got acquired by Berkshire Hathaway. Like, Warren Buffett owns that company, right? So he only buys winners. And I helped get that dealership to number one, and I got promoted and kept getting promoted. Long story short, I went from making $3,000, $2,000 a month to fucking $40K a month, right? As a finance manager. Yeah, bro. It went crazy. It all happened at kind of the same time. Found out having my first baby, biological daughter, and fucking, all this stuff is happening. I told my ex-wife at the time, which is a whole story in itself, that she needed to stay home and raise our son. And it ended up being very good. In 2017, I got to go to 2014, I got to go to finance school, which is like, you go to finance school, you made it. Like, you're wearing suits.
Moving up in the company.
Yeah.
We started in the kiosk in the mall, and the dream for the kiosk guys is to go to a corporate store.
Like a brick and mortar store.
Yeah. And then you go from a corporate store to corporate to like the office.
Yeah.
And then that's like the moving up.
Yeah. So
kind of like,
kind of same deal. Same deal. So I moved up, and it was cool. I got to wear the nice suits, right? People brought me deals instead of me out, pounding the pavement, shaking hands, kissing babies, trying to make my own deals. And you got a huge percentage of the back end. Though you sell the sizzle, not the steak, right? It's like the what if shit happens to your car? What if like your engine breaks? What if your AC goes out? What if your tires and wheels get dinged and dent? Like all that shit. That's what I was selling.
So you taught me that. I went to one of your meetups, and I think you were telling a similar story. So my girl recently, her car breaks down. We were just trading it in, going to get another car, and I'm like, they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you to the guys in the back." Oh, great! Now they're gonna sell.
Oh, you're like, here
insurance.
We fucking go.
So ironically, the guy selling me the car is a buddy of mine.
Oh, he's like,
and so I didn't realize the finance guy can hear me in the back, like selling me the gap insurance. Yeah. So my boy's like, "Bro, shut the fuck up."
Oh my god!
Like, I'm trying to see if I can get you at least like free warranty.
Yeah,
or
something good. Yeah,
talking shit. And the guy still tries to sell it to us.
Yeah.
And I have this saying that I'd use a lot. It's let go and let God. No, God's got me, right?
Okay.
People are like, oh my God, how you gonna do it?
What are you going to do if this situation happens?
All right, God's got me, right? So the guy does the whole scare tactic.
Oh, yeah,
my girl goes, it's okay, God's got me.
Oh, she already knew what time it was. Yeah, so like as a finance manager, that's so funny. We're taught to build FUD. For those of you out there who don't know what FUD is, it's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Write that shit down. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
That's some nuggets right there if you don't know that. FUD.
In my sales process, I actually build that up myself towards the seller by certain word tracks and, kind of guiding them through my sales process. But long story short, I made some investments when I was in finance school in Dallas. Shouts out to Tony Hilger. He kind of helped me change my life the first time. And he was a regional finance director. He was teaching the finance, like, this is what you're going to do. And then this is how you grab the papers. And then you take a pause when you say this. Like, everything is done by design, right? It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
A method to the madness.
100%. Okay. And I'm a firm believer in it's like, not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah, I even like do the Hormozy shit before Hormozy was posting it, where you say like, you wouldn't be opposed to going to this, would you? Like, to my girl. Like, if I want to go to Taco Del Gordo over and over and over again, I'll say it that way. Because she's not going to be like, nah, but if I told her, hey, where do you want to go?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the big. Oh God. Yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole. But long story short, I made some investments into Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys know what Bitcoin is. Back then, it was like $496 a coin at the time. No, he's the one who brought it up. He pulled out during class. He pulled out a laminated thing from his wallet. No. Those don't exist. Oh. So he pulled out a little piece of paper that was laminated and had his private key on it, his public address, and a QR code. And he's like, "This is the future. You can buy drugs, guns, whatever you want. If you own your own bank." So yeah, Silk Road. And so he said that, and I was like, I literally don't want any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like
all the negative shit you can buy
right. If I want to buy some weed, I'm going to the corner. Like I'm like what the fuck? But anyway, long story short, it kind of intrigued me. He's like, if you're interested in it, he's like, just go meet me in the lobby bar 8:00. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I meet him in the lobby bar.
But I like it.
And there's like 4 people. 2 people pull the trigger on one of them. It's kind of sketch. I'm like, dude, what does this guy get paid commission on it? Like, you're a car guy, so you
network marketing.
Yeah, bro. Like, he's like, if you sign up 2 more people, you're gonna get a free Bitcoin every month. You know, like, nah. So long story short, I spent like it was like 2 G's, a little bit over 2 G's on Bitcoin. Like,
damn.
And so I got like 4.33.
What were they worth at the time?
$496.
$496.
Yeah. And so like I bought them and I just kind of forgot about them. My baby was born, started raising the daughter, the son, growing. I'm growing into like making more money, the shit that comes with that, and just, you know, my ex-wife at the time, like just growing, right? And working hard and trying to advance my career. And then in 2017, that was when we had that initial like huge bull run.
Yeah.
One of the more modern ones. There's been older ones.
I do remember that. That's when I got into
That's when everyone in the fucking...
I got Litecoin.
Yeah. Ethereum. It's going to be a Bitcoin Cash.
I made like $1,000 in high school.
I
bought that. What was that shit coin that Elon Musk was pushing?
Dogecoin.
I bought Dogecoin when it was less than a penny. And then when that shit hit like a penny and like a few cents, I like cashed out on it and bought real stocks with it.
Oh, sick. Smart.
I got lucky.
I ended up, in 2017, all that shit happened, and I joined like Telegram, and one of my friends was like, "Hey, you should join these crypto groups." And I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I ended up joining the group called XVG. It's Verge, right?
Yeah.
And they were like the first coin to partner up with Pornhub after like they like grew up like huge with MindGeek. They had a partnership. But long story short, I ended up investing that Bitcoin into Verge, and I got like 3.91 million coins, right? And then like then it went to like 7 million, and because I kept swing trading and it was doing good. And then like,
were you setting limits or were you just like
watching? I was swing trading. So I was like a crackhead. Like, so I was just doing it manually. Yeah, day trading. So long story short, I was doing this while I was a finance manager at Larry Miller Dodge in Avondale, and I would have clients come into my office and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm losing money. I'm gaining money. I'm da 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 da. And at the time, like Bitcoin was like, it looks like it had gone up to 13,000, 14,000. And then it had run up to like 20K at the height of 2017. But I would be sitting there in my office, and here's look, December 21st.
Show the camera.
December 21st. 2017. Let me make sure the pictures on the bottom are good. Okay. December 21st, 2017. 429,000 was in my portfolio.
They got a hidden for that, bro.
Right. I don't know how to use it. My fiance tells me all the time.
They got a hidden for that. Guys, if you're watching live, stay tuned. He's gonna kick some free game at the end if you watch.
I'm giving away 5K worth of shit. So stay in.
Worth of shit. Stay tuned.
So my portfolio was like 429,000 December 21st, 2017. But I had lost 251 grand in 24 hours. And then the next day,
somebody's annual salary.
Yeah. And then the next day I would like get 309,000 and I would get to like almost 700K.
No.
So I'm sitting there in the office, like showing these people like, oh yeah, extend your warranty on your fucking, you know, Dodge Dart and da da da. You got to protect yourself. And I'm like losing a house, gaining a house, losing a house. And I'd have to like literally be like, excuse me. And I'd like run out of the office, go to the bathroom and just throw up.
Like literally
throw up because my stomach was just in knots. And it was crazy.
It's like teeth biting.
It was crazy. So like, it was weird, but it wasn't real money to me. It was not real until you
cash out,
right? So long story short, I remember my daughter we were, it was like almost during Christmas time. And she like would come to me and be like, Danny. And like, I would be so addicted to crypto, bro. So addicted like that. I would just eat, sleep. Like I was constantly like this, like refreshing.
Was it almost like a gambling thing? Like a fiend almost?
Yeah.
Almost. I mean, well, I've never been addicted to drugs, but I was addicted to alcohol. And I feel like maybe it was kind of the same thing.
You can't stop looking at it.
Yeah. It's like, you can't stop looking at it. It's all you think about. It's like, man, I wonder if I like fucking took a dip, or I wonder if I made more money. And
they don't let you set limits?
Yeah. But
you didn't do that.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
Because I wasn't trading at the time. Like I'm holding,
Yeah.
but there was bull runs. John McAfee, you know him? He does the antivirus, right?
Yeah.
So McAfee antivirus. Yeah. So like, I actually was on a interview with him as a guest, and I have it on my YouTube, and like he was like out in the international waters with these Nigerian dudes holding guns, or Belizean dudes holding, like they were his bodyguards, and he jumped on a interview with me. It's a long story, but long story short,
what?
Yeah, bro, I have it. It's fucking crazy.
McAfee guy had pirate security guards, and he interviewed with you. I gotta see this.
Yeah, bro, it's no cap. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
And it was nuts. But anyway, long story short, I was like starting to get really into crypto. I was so obsessed. Like I was like talking to like the top guys in their respective realms and coins and stuff, and I finally, like, I would ignore my daughter, and I realized like I was ignoring my kids.
Yeah.
I was ignoring my kids because I was so hyper focused on this shit with my AirPods on.
You forgot what you were missing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, I'm working like 13 hours a day, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. And then when I'm home, I'm like in front of a computer again. And I lock myself in my home office, and I'm like, this got to change. So fucking crying my ass off, because it was so weird. I sold all my crypto. Sold all my crypto, bro. And the funny part about everything is I sold my crypto, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna keep going up. You get FOMO, right? And I'm like, I'm missing out. Look, like here's a picture of me. Like Bitcoin was like 4,700, and I was like trading. It's my profile, and then
495 to 4,700.
What's that? Yeah.
You went from 495.
Like,
you bought it for 495 a coin.
Yeah,
and it was at 4,700.
I sold at 19,000, a little bit over 19,000.
Damn.
But it was. So I went from Bitcoin to Verge, right? Which got me millions of coins.
Right.
Those coins were at fractions, like 2,500. So I had a 7,000% run.
It would only need to hit a penny for you to be like straight.
Yeah. And I did this. I added the initial $2,000. Then I added another, it was like 11 grand.
Yeah.
So it was like 13, 14,000 almost. I put in total, like another 10K. And it had a 7,000% run, and I ended up cashing the money out. Like it had gone over $1 million, and I didn't cash out because I was it's just greed. You know what I mean? It's just like, man, if it keeps going, like I'm going to miss out, blah, 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 blah.
To be safe to say that you made a decent fortune off of crypto. You're like, we'll call it the crypto gold rush.
So yeah, for sure. So here's Avondale, June 7th, 2018, 9:14 p.m. I think this was a Sunday, and I was off Monday. Oh no, it was Saturday. And I was off the following Monday, Tuesday. And I'm like logged into all my windows. You see all like the fucking, this is for the banks. This is to get license plates, temporary tags. Like I'm logged into my shit, and like I'm looking at my bank account here, and these are the numbers on my screen at the time. And I'm just like, dude, like everybody used to tell me like, why are you still here? Why are you still here? And once I like saw, like, it just hit me. I'm like, dude,
what does that say for the people that might not be able to see on the live?
It says available balance $973,470.
Homeboy had almost $1 million in his crypto wallet at one point.
No, that's not in my crypto wallet. This is JP Morgan Chase. This is
that
Chase.
was what deposited.
Yeah. That's after I sold. Yeah. So I had gone over $1 million.
Say hi to Randy. Say hi, Randy. What up, Randy?
What up, Randy? What up? Shouts out to my little brother, Bull Shark. But anyway, long story short, I ended up selling, and I was sitting there with the pile of deals after a Saturday. We sold like 20 something cars that night, and I'm just like, damn, man,
almost $1 million in your bank account.
This. I'm like, dude, I can figure it out. Yeah, dude, if I worst case scenario, I step on my dick and I can come back to the car business, right? Like any popsicle stand will hire me, even if I got to start from the bottom because I left on bad terms, because it's like, oh yeah, you made it, now you left us.
You gotta be a shitty businessman to lose $1 million though.
Right. So
right. You can't go wrong with that.
So check it out. the next day is my day off, and I go in there and fucking and I quit. I packed my shit up, and I never looked back. And after that, I for like 6 months just traveled with my family, hung out. Then I started drinking again. Right? I was like,
did you say it was from like boredom?
It's boredom, bro. Like I would swing trade like every morning from like 6, because I was in the military for so long. Like I always would wake up at 5 or 6 without an alarm. So I'd get up at like 6. I'd go get coffee at the Starbucks in sweatpants and a hoodie, come back, and then I'd go on the computer, talk to my friends, my crypto friends all over the world, and fucking trade. And then I'd be in my pool all day. I'd smoke hookah. I'd be drunk, passed out on my living room couch by like 1 o'clock every fucking day. So then eventually it was just like, okay, something's got to give. And I started looking into real estate, because everybody says you get rich in real estate, right? So I started Googling, who in here knows World Star Hip Hop? You heard about that?
Yeah,
right?
I've heard of World Star.
So
World
you know, like
Star.
World Star, yeah. So yeah, so I was like, I was
on.
on World Star Hip Hop Media Takeout, and I would always see like buy properties, no credit, no cash out of pocket, blah blah blah, and it'd just be like some dude talking to like 10 people in a room.
So it was like an add-on World Star?
Yeah.
It was like what wholesaling was back then.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now it's like TikTok, and everyone's like,
oh
yeah, you can make 20, 30K. You just got to do this.
Yeah.
Sign up for the course. We're going to give you a free webinar.
Right? And so then I started looking into it, and I looked up who were the like top 2 people in Phoenix I need to talk to, and one of them was like All In Entrepreneurs, and the other one was
the All In guys.
Yep, and then the other one was Brent Daniels, TTP.
Okay,
so I
love the concept TTP. It's so simple.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. But
ironic, you're All In guys. Our last guest, where's Vic? Is Vic in here? Vic. So our last guest was actually an All In student.
Yeah.
And he said he learned a lot from All In.
Yeah, great education platform at the time. I don't know what they're up to now these days, but I reached out to both of them, right? And I sent them my Instagram was like 250 followers at the time, private, like didn't have a really picture of me as my avatar. Like it was just like super low key. Yeah. And I had messaged them and sent them an email. They contact us, and I'm like, hey, how can I learn? I'm interested in learning. Please don't send me an automated course thing. That's why everybody keeps sending me. I want to learn, like even if I have to pay. So I still have the email from Brent Daniels. It was kind of like just generic. I think he actually responded to me, but at the end of it was like 2 sentences. Then join the course, right?
Yeah.
Basically. And so I was just like, man, fuck. Like, yeah. Like I'm like, dude, I have the money. Like, how do I do?
And they don't even know that. They're just
it's almost you don't really go around broadcasting. You kind of
like you kind of like tested them to see what they would do first, and then once it was like, all right, now that I'm in,
I even
like,
said, hey, I'm willing to like pay.
I mean, it's not like, hey, I got X amount of money.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, I'm willing to. And so instead of him just showing you, he gave you a course.
Yeah, I give him background, like not that I made the money, but I'm like, hey, I was in the car business. I've been in sales. I was prior military service. Yada. And that's kind of how it
elevator
went.
pitch.
And it's funny because I met Brett Daniels like a year and a half later. Great guy, dude.
Super cool guy.
Fucking guy.
And his arms are huge. Dude,
he's
life.
big. He has the biggest arms in real estate.
So can I just, and not to clown on him, but he looks short on camera, and then in real life he's like actually tall.
You know why he looks short on camera? Because he's so stocky.
He's so swole.
He's so swole, dude.
Shout out Brent Daniels, bro. Huge fan, actually.
Great guy. So then I reached out to the All In guys. I reached out to Sal Shakir and Carlos. I didn't reach out to Alex at the time, but I reached out to them on Instagram and through email. Got no emails back, but on Instagram, nothing. Right, like it went to their requests, Yeah. And finally, like I think Carlos was doing like a IG live. He was in his Rolls Royce. I was like, oh, this motherfucker's making money, right? And people started asking him questions. Like he would do this. He would go live when he was driving home from the office or whatever.
And just do Q&A.
Yeah, do Q&A. So people are asking like sales questions, and I'm in there answering them before he could get to them, right?
Yeah.
Like they're answering them, they're asking him in the comments.
And you already know sales, so
I know
it kind of makes sense. You're like, I know the answer to this.
Yeah. So I just fucking say, hey, do this. And then I kept doing it. And then finally he's like, hey, brother, shoot me a DM, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's link, whatever, let's talk. Cause I'm like, hey, I'm good at, he's like, you're good at sales, And so we DM'd a couple times, and then he's like, hey, come by the office Monday. So like, I fucking went, got my hair, fucking my beard,
Get all cleaned up.
I put the Beijing in my shit. You know, the shit that makes it look all dark, bro. I thought I was the fucking dude.
I did that today.
Yeah.
To get rid of some of the gray.
Yeah, you can see I'm just like, I'm so lazy on it. Yeah. But I pull up. At the time, I didn't even have gray hair, but I was like making it dark so my edge up looked fucking fresh, you know?
Oh,
yeah, super, you know? And I pull up and we start talking. I'm telling Sal about and Carlos about what I do. Nick Murrieta was in the room too, and he's like, "Hey, if they don't hire you, I will."
So he's just waiting.
Yeah, so we talked, and long story short, like Sal was like, "Hey, dude, right now we're not where we can afford you. You know what you're used to making." And I'd hate to waste your time. And Carlos is like, "No, bro," because he's like, Sal wanted me to do business development for all the software companies and all that good stuff. And Carlos wanted me, he's like, "Dude, this guy's a fucking killer. He's a shark. Like, let's get him in acquisitions and then help him, you know, lead a team or whatever."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Hey, dude," he's like, "But you're probably not going to make what you were making the carpets." I'm like, "Hey, I'm cool, bro."
Like,
cool.
You're going to make less?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was making like 40K.
Is it like for the training purposes or?
No, like,
it's not like a starting. It was like, this is all you're gonna make.
No. Just like starting, like just like, you know, think about it this way. You guys have employees and you guys have people you work with, and it's a lot of responsibility.
Okay.
I like to run lean just because, like, if I hire somebody on a team, right?
Yeah.
Then if I'm a good person and a good leader, I inherit their problems. I inherit their family responsibility. Like what.
So for you, it's a learning experience. Then it was the money.
Yeah, I was like I told you, I was good. You know what I'm saying? So I told him, "Hey, I have a lot of money saved up." I would tell him, "Hey, I'm good. I'm saved up. I'm not gonna come to you asking for fucking advances. Like I just want to learn. I want to, you know, as long as I'll join the team if it means like there's growth, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So long story short, I go into acquisitions. First day they're having me shadow some dude, and at the time they only had like 4 people. They were making like 7 deals a month or something like that. And I shadow a couple people. And I'm just like, damn, these fools are fucking trash. Like straight up. Like
sales wise.
Yeah, sales wise. Like there was no true sales process. It was just like some rinky dinky cookie cutter shit, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. What's the follow up process look like? Trash.
There is no follow up.
There is none. What is that?
Wow.
Right. So I will say this, Adrian Salgado, shout out to him. He was dialed in. And there was another guy there, Alex. You guys probably know him. Alex, little Alex. I always call him Little Alex. He's a grown man. And that dude was sharp as well. He was one of the original people I met when I first started there. But it was still like no direction as far as like a dialed in, tight, locked sales process. So I followed him for 2 days and I'm like, dude, I'm ready to get on phones. And they're like, oh, no. Okay, fine. Carlos was like, all right, he can get on phones. Just let him call old shit. Right. I'm like, all right, cool. So I call old shit. I made a deal my first day, South Phoenix. It's a good deal.
And they're all jaw dropped now.
Yeah. And they're like, what the fuck? There's leads. So like we're spending money.
Yeah.
Then they're like, dude, we have money sitting. There's gold sitting
Tino
here.
just went on the table and said,
no, it gets better. Second day, I did 2 deals. I did 2 deals my second day from old leads.
Damn.
And then the third day, I did another deal. Fast forward, my first 5 weeks, I did 33 deals. Right. First 5 weeks, no training, no shit. And Carlos was like, hey, bro, I want you to like
create the sales process.
Yes. Create a sales process, train a team. Like, let's do this. I'm like, all right, cool. So in the midst of all that, my wife's father, who's he adopted, like their family adopted my wife. I know, or my ex-wife. I know her since I was like 8 years old. We grew up same block or whatever, my grandma's house. And her dad had died. Her adopted dad. She didn't really meet her biological parents, and it was like crushing for her, right? And she was home. She was a homemaker. So I'm like, all right, well, she's like, I want to meet my parents. Like I want to know who they like my real parents are. I'm like, are you sure? Like sometimes you don't want to meet your heroes. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've heard that. So she's like, yes. So I hire a private investigator. We find them, right? And long story short, mom still doing the same shit on drugs, all that good stuff. Dad,
you meet them and it's not what you expected.
Right. And she was like let down. I'm like, hey, you know, just she was so excited that she had found them. And I'm like, hey, don't put too much stock into that, right? Because I've met some of my heroes before just to find out they're pieces of shit. Yeah. Right.
Or you're just disappointed.
Yeah, for sure. So then she meets her real dad, fly her to North Dakota. And the guy's actually it's cool. He's like a recovered drug addict. He's good. He works. He's just living the fucking dream over there, right? Like just American blue collar guy, and she just starts going there often. This is while I'm working at All In, right? And then after I made the 33 deals, it's sick. We're popping. We're starting to fuck. I'm showing up on the Instagram thing. They're like, you need to build Instagram. Da 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 da. And on a Friday night, I realized that she's cheating on me with her stepbrother that I was flying her out there to go see, right? And to North Dakota. And how'd
you find out, if you don't mind me asking?
It's actually a funny story. So Sal was running PPC and I started crushing it. So he'd be like, hey, Tino, we're going to put him on PPC. We're going to put you in the round robin, right? And I had T-Mobile at the time. And I had bad service in that building. Everybody else had Verizon or
Sprint.
Not Sprint, the other one, AT&T.
AT&T.
It worked good, but T-Mobile sucked there.
Yeah.
And so like if you know PPC, if it rings to all around robin all at the same time, it goes to whoever answers it first, right?
Okay.
Now, if it rings and somebody hangs up on the call or sends it to voicemail automatically, it stops for everyone.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Immediately. So my phone, I had shitty service, would just like it wouldn't register, so it would just go straight to voicemail because I had bad service, and I wasn't on the Wi-Fi or anything like that. It was before that shit. So Sal was like, what the fuck? Da, 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 who's sending the PPC leads? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And then finally we figured out through CallRail that it was my phone. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like,
so
hey,
your
I'm gonna
phone's ending it by accident because there's no service.
Yep, inadvertently.
Damn.
So then I went the next day to Verizon, got my phone situated, and they're like, oh, do you want to transfer your other phone, which is my fiance's phone, or my ex-wife's phone? And I'm like, no, I'll take care of that later because she has a 619 number still.
Yeah.
You know? And
she's from here too?
Yeah, we grew up together. I knew her since I was like
from
fucking 5 years old or 8 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
And long story short, I'm on the computer and I'm starting to transfer it now, finally. Like transfer his shit.
And you find like messages.
And I seen not messages, but a bunch of phone calls and messages. Yeah. Messages because he has an Android. That's the only reason why I can see the messages.
If it's on iPhone, it will go to the messages.
Yeah, ew. Right. And so like I kept seeing the calls.
T-phone.
Yeah, for life. I keep seeing the calls and I'm like, wait a minute. Where's this area code? I searched the area code. I'm like, all right, well, that's probably her dad. But why is she calling him when like every time she leaves the house, every time I'm not there basically, and they're a long conversation.
You noticed the times and stuff.
So this is all like within within like 10 minutes, bro. Like, so I went from like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade her phone and fucking do this and do that, right?
Now you went down a rabbit hole.
Now we're down a rabbit hole, and then I called him and I'm like, I'm gonna do some reverse engineering because I don't think that this is his phone number, right?
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna talk. The guy's like fucking old. Like you can't have 2-hour conversations with old people.
Yeah,
like over and over and over again. They can talk for 2 hours, but you're not gonna sit for 2 hours and listen.
Right.
So I call him and it's middle of the night and he's like not answering. So I call him again. He answers like, hello, da, 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 da. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Da, 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 da. I'm trying to figure out, I don't remember how it was, but it was social engineer where I'm like, hey, I'm trying to figure out if I have the right phone number.
Your Intel training?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out if I have the right phone number, the right person, da, 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 da. Can you just verify your name for me? Like, you know, this is your number, right? Yeah. Da, 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 da. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that I have the right number. I'm looking for John. I made up a name, I think it was. And I'm like, are you John? He's like, no, you got the wrong number. I was like, are you sure this is the number he gave me? Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to help him out. Like, he's a good friend of mine. And then I remember he's like, no. He tells me his name. I'm this person. Like, I get him to tell me his name.
Clicked immediately.
And I clicked. And I'm like, oh, I know who that fucking dude is. And I just hung up on him. And I called her. I'm like, hey, you want to come home? Like, you need to come home. Like, we need to talk. And then so she was out at the grocery store, or actually with her sister, having cocktails on my dime. And then she comes home. And Monday morning, that was Friday night. Monday morning, like, I leave that night with my 6 Series at the time, full of my clothes. Just like my closest valuable shit as well. And I leave. And then Monday morning, as soon as the courthouse opens, I file for divorce.
So you don't ask no questions?
Nah.
Smart.
Nah. She just
because they'd be trying to like.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, bro. I can relate to this because I've had some. I've walked in.
Oh, wow.
And it was like,
it
was like a best friend at the time.
Oh, Lord.
And like.
not on there.
He might even be watching. but so I excuse the language. I beat the dog shit out of him like twice.
Yeah.
Right. So but for me, the feeling that you get from that is not something that you can just explain to anybody.
No, it's hard. I don't talk about it too much. I just recently started talking about it because it's like, dude, it's hard to like talk, especially
but it's part
when
of
like
your story.
It is. It is, honestly. Knock on wood, everything happens because of you, for you, not to you, and it's definitely has changed some stuff in my life. So I'll say this, that happened, and I was like, all right, well, she's like, well, you're never home, you're always like never around. I'm like, why don't you just tell me it was this bad? Like we could have figured it out. But long story short, it's a blessing in disguise. She tries to she knows how much money we have. She tries to fucking get a lawyer, all stuff.
Play the whole thing, victim.
$200K up front, fucking $15K a month or $20K a month for, I think it was like 2 years.
Try to hit you like a ball player.
Yeah, bro, I'm not a ball player, bro. I just made some money. Like, it was like.
But the court system's weird, bro. Yeah. So yeah. Long
story short, I got a really good lawyer, really, really good lawyer. Recommendation from another car guy who had gotten divorced, and so it was pretty ruthless, and I was able to secure full custody of my kids. And my son, he just turned 10 last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago. He's not my biological son, but I was raising him since he was 5 weeks old.
Was it her kid?
Yes.
Oh,
5 weeks old.
But he lives with you?
Yes, full time.
Damn. So you took her kid?
Yeah.
That's kind of like an ultimate like fuck you.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So like I have her kid, which I've been raising since he was 5 weeks, and my daughter and our daughter. So
I mean, if there's an ever, I don't even know what you could like.
Dude, like her whole thing was like, oh, he's not even your son. Like, give him back to me. I'm gonna take him from you. And all this shit.
Probably better with you, anyways.
Oh yeah, dude, he's doing great. He's fucking thriving, bro. And like,
that's crazy.
And it's crazy because she wasn't a bad mom when she had them. She just made terrible choices, man. And the choices that we have repercussions for life. They don't just go away.
Paying for them now. No,
I don't even charge her child support. I don't charge her anything.
And she gets to see him whenever.
You know what? It's not whenever, but it's like the kids are gonna be the people that get hurt ultimately.
Right.
I have full custody. She only has on paper, like I was granted, she can see them once every other year on her birthday. That's like all I gave her.
Fuck.
So like,
but you let her see them whenever.
Yeah. So like,
because at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to the kids.
Right. And then I don't want to ever be like, hey, well, your dad didn't let me see them, and da da da.
And it'll bite you in the ass.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I come from a divorced family and a single mom and all that shit. I know how that goes. But for me, it was like, no mercy. Like, I need my kids. I would give up every penny to my name. Fucking, I'd be somewhere fucking sucking dick to make money to get my kids. If anybody out there is offended, I'm sorry, but that's how as a heterosexual man, how low I would go to make this happen. Right. You know what I mean? So it worked out fine. She ended up, I gave her $1,000 cash and our SUV, and I kind of hoodwinked her. I'm like, hey, like, just go, because she already had a job, bro. It was like premeditated. Had a fucking apartment set up, had dude, and I started finding out shit like on my Amazon cart. It had like all new furniture. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, we got furniture, and it was heartbreaking just for the simple fact that like in my core group of friends, I was that dude. I was the guy who made it. Right? Like, I'm the guy who hit it, left the car business. I had the house, had the waterfall in the backyard, the fucking pool, the dog. Like, I made it. And then this shit happens to me. So what did I do? I just became reclusive. Stopped hanging out with friends. I took a month and a half. It was like
shame.
Almost? It was, bro. It was embarrassment. It was embarrassment because everything before then had been built on pride and ego, right? Like being that motherfucker.
And motherfuckers will kick you when you're down too. Like,
yeah,
there's not going to be anybody supportive of stuff like that.
No. I will say this. I have one regret. One of my good friends, his name's Dominique Dennis. He was my best friend at the time. I didn't like really have a lot of friends, but he was my best friend. He was in the car business, and we moved everywhere. If I went to another dealership to work because it was a promotion or something, he would come with me. Like, it was like a 2-for-1 deal every single time. And we would talk every day. And then when that shit happened, I was just so embarrassed because he looked up to me. Yeah. Like, he used to tell me, like, you're like my big brother. Yeah. And he would be like, don't make me send your mom to go and get you. Like, I'm trying to get a hold of you, motherfucker. Call me.
Like, trying extra. Like, that's like a good homie.
Right.
Like, you get a good homie. So, like, I got a good homie who fell into drug addiction. And it's, even though I know that, I'm like, hey, where are you at? Da, da, da. Yeah. I'm in town visiting. Yep. I don't give a fuck what hole you're in. I'm going to come find you if you don't come out.
Right. Yeah. That's how it was, bro. Because he knew me, bro. Like, and we were really good friends for years, and all that shit happened. And the regret I do have is because I I just kind of avoided him a lot, right? And finally, I got to tell him the story. He's like, bro, like, it's okay.
The real ones will understand.
Yeah. And I told him, but it was like kind of too late. And then we FaceTime for like 2 hours. And he was a big motorcycle driver. He had a rider. He was part of a club, and he had this big ass street glide. It was called a Big Hershey. It's like marble chocolate race. It was sick, bro. And he actually drove down here to San Diego with his crew, and I don't know what happened, but he crashed into a cement guardrail.
He died
and smashed his leg and
bled
out to death. Yeah. So I didn't.
Sorry to hear that.
So that's rest in peace. But like that's my only regret. Only regret that I have was not embracing the help and the empathy and the just the camaraderie of friends, right? But long story short, it works out for me. I go back to Carlos and Sal, and I was gonna move to South America. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna just get an expat nanny. I'll figure it out,
bro. Who are we talking to that's out there and they got a nanny and it's like stupid cheap?
The one from El Salvador. What's his name?
Robbie. Oh, Robbie. So we got a guy who does acquisitions for us as remote because he's a high ticket closer as well.
Sick.
He lives in El Salvador. He showed us his view from the beach.
Beautiful.
$1,500 a month.
So dope.
He's got $20 a day for cleaners. $20 a day. I was telling Rich, I'm like, Rich, if you need it, have you traveled? He's like, nah, not really, not outside the United States. Like, bro, go get your passports, get the fuck out of the United States. And worst case scenario, you make enough money, bro, you can live somewhere and nanny the kid, or the kids can be homeschooled.
Yep.
And so, that
was my plan. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna move to Costa Rica or something. I'll figure it out. And my mom and my brother were like, no.
Stay brought him with.
Stay here. They're like, stay here.
Like, mom,
their whole family's here, you know?
I want to do another hour.
You know what, Mike? We're going to keep it rolling, bro. This is going to be a 2-hour special.
I'm sorry, bro. I talk a lot.
No, actually, he just hit us with the cue, and I was like, nah, we're going to keep rolling.
Okay, cool.
I think, a lot of people are kind of not scared, but a little bit vulnerable, just talking about their lowest points in their life.
Yeah, bro. And it was like, it truly was. For sure. And I was telling you guys before, like, I don't really talk about it just because it's such a low point in my life, and I feel like
somebody needs to hear your story though,
because somebody might be going through it.
Exactly.
And like I used to think like nobody needs to hear this shit. Like I shouldn't even talk about it because it's embarrassing. Maybe they're gonna fucking talk shit behind my back or something.
At the time, yeah.
But I realized that like everything happens for a reason, and it's like how you react from it is what's important. So my mom and my brother say, no, stay here. We'll help you out with the kids, and I stay. But I had told Carlos and Sal, like, hey, dude, this is not going to work out for me.
So you quit?
And so, like, I tried to quit, and they're like, no.
They talked you out of it.
We want you to do business development. They talk me out of it.
Do you know what they say? The best salesmen are also the biggest suckers.
Yeah, bro. For sure. I'm the easiest motherfucker to close. Me too. If you work hard in the mall, I'm like, I'm buying all your shit.
I'm walking by you on purpose. Yeah. So we go to
let me see what
Costco.
you got.
You know? See Costco. They got I used to do that. The Costco with DirecTV, and they have the cell phones.
Yeah.
So I'm like with my cart, I'll be going this way, and I'll see them with my cart, and I'm like,
you're like, let me see if you can stop me and pitch me.
And then I'll walk by and see if they pitch me. Sometimes I get talked to, and then whenever they do talk to me, I always stop them. And now I'm to the point where I'm like, if I like their style, I'm like, bro, follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hey, follow me on Instagram. Reach out if I can help you.
Do this until you can build up in just a different place. Yeah. So I ended up staying, but moved to the education thing there. Started doing like a lot of events and stuff like that. It was fucking dope, bro.
So that's when you had left completely? You didn't come back or anything?
No.
Or?
I left for a month and a half, and then I came back to quit.
And they put you in the education side.
So we went from like doing like, I think it was like 7 to 10 deals a month to doing like 50, 60 deals a month, right? 40 deals a month.
Volume.
So then like I left for a month and a half. And I told him, hey, dude, I need 3 months. But after like a month and a half, Carlos was a good friend at the time. He was telling me like, hey, bro, you need to come in, bro. It's okay. Like stuff happens, right? And finally I was like, you know what? You're right, bro. You're right. And so I came in and I told him, you know what? This is not going to work. Like I tried it for like 3 days, bro. And
you're getting love in the comments. Not to interrupt you.
Oh, okay.
But you got mad love. Tino, you're a real one for that.
I appreciate that.
Randy appreciates us giving us an extra hour. Shout out, Randy. Wish you were out here. I don't know if you know who this Jason guy is, but he says, play it louder. I can't hear you over the Avenged Sevenfold concert you just interrupted. Ha ha. So I guess somebody's at a concert trying to watch you.
I don't know. I guess maybe. Fuck Avenged Sevenfold, bro. Put your phone away and rock out, you know? But anyway,
so go ahead.
Long story short, I get into the education thing, and that's when like shit started changing. And they're like, hey, you need to build your social media.
So it was education for you, not for them.
No, it was education for them, but I was helping build that.
Okay.
Like the
so
events,
like high ticket sales type stuff.
And I'm like, hey, we should, building products,
right?
Building the companies, the software companies, all that good stuff. And we started throwing events, and I got really good at my craft. At the end of the day, we ended up like one freedom. I went on stage, and it was 2-day freedom. I closed $1.21 million from the stage,
live on stage.
Yeah. It's like
that's
still
crazy.
To this day, the biggest fucking amount I've closed. And people have hired me multiple times to help them with their program, like their upsell,
right,
and shit like that. And then go on stage, tell my story, pitch it.
You know where I saw you for the first time?
Where's that?
In the chat of Closers Olympics, I was Don Trade 3000.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
we were trolling so hard the whole fucking time.
I think Quentin Flores like told the seller he wanted to move his family into the hood in Oakland.
Yeah, and then he got like, caught up lying.
Yeah, we were like, there's this all time. I was like, and then like, we were like, they would go for the close, and I'd be like, stop talking, shut the fuck up. You just like coaching them from the chat. It was fun. And I just remember seeing Tino in there.
Should we take a break?
All right. Do you want to switch it out in like 5? Tell them to let us know to switch it out in 5, and then we'll just pause it. Yeah.
Sorry guys, like I said, I talk a lot. But
no, you're good. They got to switch out the card though, because the card might run out of memory, so we don't want to like lose some of it. But
so in 5 minutes we'll take a short break. But fast forward, I helped, and we built that company up like pretty big. It was like $9 to $11 million a year, I think it was.
Sheesh.
And Carlos ended up going through some personal things, so he wanted to do I was the only person in the building that didn't have a salary, by the way. I was all
commission only.
Yeah, and I asked for
like a real salesman.
Yeah, because I'm like, dude, don't give me no fucking salary. Like,
you're not a salesman, you're a Jedi, bro.
I appreciate that. Bro, I made my life based on sales and talking.
No, and I call it. There's sales training, and then there's Jedi.
Yeah,
and then there's Jedi Master, right?
Bro, well, think about it, bro. Like everything we do is sales, right? Whether you're talking to friends, to like you just sold him on, giving us another extra 5 minutes.
Without even realizing, hey, just put it.
You're like, hey, just put it on.
I'm pushy. Yeah, I'm like that on the phone too. I'm like, just sign this contract for this low ass ball deal you don't want.
I get whatever the fuck I want, bro. Yeah. It's not because I'm like fucking forceful or a rapist or anything, but it's because I'm a good talker, right? Like I know how people think. I know the psyche behind it. And for me, everything, you're always selling yourself, whether it's to the opposite sex, whether it's buying,
me selling you on my free meetup in Oceanside.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And like just everything. Yeah, we went out to dinner in San Antonio, and you're like, hey man, I have a question for you. And
I was like, come out.
Yeah.
You said you didn't like flying. So what I did as a closing topic is like, perfect. Drive your ass to San Diego.
Perfect. Drive to San Diego. You're from it. We'll have a good time. Da da da. I was like,
I'm a little disappointed, man. I was a little caught up with doing everything that I didn't even get to enjoy it.
Yeah, because when you're bootstrapping something like that, you're kind of like,
it's a lot
doing everything. So I get that, man.
We've gotten better at streamlining it, though.
I've been there for sure. But yeah, so Carlos was going through some personal things, and I was traveling around with him around the world. It was cool. I was learning so much game and just having a good time, meeting people, forging relationships. I'm closing people on, $50,000 mentorships, $30,000 mentorships, $20,000, and I'm building relationships with these people. And people are like, dude, I would have never done this if you hadn't pushed me over the edge.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't push you over the edge. I just gave you enough information for you to make an educated decision that made sense. Right. Yeah. So I start building and forging these relationships that people are like, still to this day are like, hey man, I just want to say thank you. Like, you changed my life. I'm like, bro, you did the work. But they're like, yeah, but I wouldn't have joined without you.
Right.
Like, so it was pretty cool. But in the midst of all that, Carl's going through some, personal issues that he wanted to take some time off. He had some personal things that he wanted to take care of. So I was like, all right, cool. But it was kind of hard because it was like, all right, well, we're going to cancel everything, and I'm not going to take any mentees on, and I'm not going to sell any of this, and
They're going to just shut down the shop?
Kind of like that side, like taking on more clients. And like, that's how I got paid, right? I didn't get paid on residual. I just got paid on like.
Right. You had to eat what you kill.
Yeah. So like, it was like, all right, cool. Well, let's, that's not gonna work for me. Like, I can't take 8 months. Like, I got kids. I like nice shit. You know what I mean? So
at this point, like people rely on them.
Yeah. Then that's what I'm saying. When you have employees and they're like, oh, you're not an employee, you're an entrepreneur. Da, da, da. No, at the end of the day, like I wasn't
shop.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I relied on this job. It was a job at the end of the day, right? It was a job. And now, albeit I'm a contractor, it's still a job. Like, so
true.
I ended up leaving just because we had some disagreements and I thought it was best that I just part ways, right?
Nothing personal.
And so I left and I was scared, bro. I'm like, dude, what am I going to do? Right? What am I going to do? Which lead me to like all the relationships I built over the years. There's a few people that I talk to every fucking day, right? Every single day of my life, I talk to them, whether it's through voice memos, texting, or Instagram or memes, somehow, some way. And so the guys in this room are one of them.
Okay.
And one of my mentors, Chris Gomez. You guys know him.
We were just on the boat.
Yeah. He's one of the guys I've been talking to for like 4 years. Every fucking day of our lives.
Every time we kick it with him, we level up.
Yeah, because it forces you. Because you're like, wow, this shit is out here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look,
we did a.
Texting me right now.
Hey, what up, Chris? Hey, shout out Chris Gomez if he's out there.
So it would just be like I'm getting distracted. It was weird because I started going.
Your boy Louis V's watching. Shout out Louis V.
What up? Shout out to Louis V. So I was worried. I'm like, dude, da, 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 da. And he's like, hey, dude, just train my guys to do what you do on the events. It was plugged in 1.0. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, how much do you charge? And I was like, bro, at this point, I'm like unemployed. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, how about this, bro? Like, let's not make this weird. I'll pay you fucking 15 grand for you to hop on 2 Zooms with them.
Cool.
I was like 15 grand to hop on 2 fucking 1 hour Zooms.
Was like the webinars?
No, it was just private. Me and him having a Zoom.
So he paid you at first?
Yeah, Dustin and Ryan Panda. You know Panda?
I met him though. It was really just Stu.
He's one of his partners.
Well, I've seen him around.
Yeah, he's kind of the bigger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so him and Dustin, who's no longer part of his crew. That's a whole nother story. But those 2 guys, he wanted me to train them on how to do what I do.
Yeah.
Right. And I started training them and everything. And like, it was good the first call. And they're like, fuck, dude, this is a lot of info. And I'm like, oh,
so you couldn't do it in 2 days. They needed to like stretch it out.
That was after the first day. The second day we hop on the call. And then Chris is like, hey, bro, I'm going to send you the rest of the money. But these guys don't think this is going to work. I'm like, what? Like, it does work. Like, I've used it. And they're like, no, they don't think. And then they're like, hey, we're not going to be able to do all that. How much do we need to pay you to just do it for us? So I was like, okay. And Chris is like, here, bro, I'm sending you the rest of it right now. Cause he sent me, 75. And I was like, what the fuck? So I only did 1 hour for 15K. And then he's trying to hire me to fucking
15,000 an hour.
Yeah,
y'all hear that?
Cool.
My boy made 15,000 in 1 hour.
Yeah. Just by kicking game on what I learned.
Just by kicking game. That's what's up.
Long story short, shout out to Chris, right? He helped change my life the second time. The first time was Tony Hilger. And I will say this, Carlos, Sal, and Alex did open my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't know was possible, right? I learned a lot from them. Right. They helped change my life as well. And then Chris helped me like level up my life.
Chris is dope. You know what? And I think we were talking this off record, but you know, you meet a lot of these guys on social media, right? And you meet them and you get disappointed. Yeah, I was not only was I not disappointed, I was like extremely impressed.
This guy's fucking cool
as fuck. And so we go, and then not only that, every time, so we did our one-on-one, and as soon as me and this, because we stayed in Orange County, we don't want to drive an hour. We're just gonna stay up here. It was my girl's birthday weekend, so we're like, we're about to go to Huntington, party in Huntington for the weekend. Yeah, so we get up there and we're like, I don't even think we finished. It was supposed to be like a 2-hour thing, or maybe we stayed there.
I think it was running late to something else.
Yeah, he had like another meeting. So we go straight back to the hotel and we're like pacing back and forth, game planning, writing stuff down. And like, this is exactly kind of how this started, was from that.
And he's like, hey, you guys should do this.
We're like, we're starting to do the content thing, but we're we want to get to a certain point. And he was like, talked us up to it. And then we like, just after that, after the whole, there was a shift of mindset. Right. And after having that shift of mindset, it's literally manifesting into what like you're now seeing.
Yeah, I'll say this, dude. Like when I left the other organization, like I was scared. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do consulting. Like Terry Thayer out of North Carolina, he paid me $15,000 to he like flew me out. It was pretty dope. I got to drive his Lambo.
Yeah,
like I stayed there.
That was when you first got your
that
was your first,
and
first
that was my first first
hit. We'll call it a hit.
Hit. Like, my first hit. Yeah. And then the whole thing with Chris happened. And while I was out there, it was like, damn, people are fucking willing to pay me this much, $15,000 for like 2 days of my time. Like I had imposter syndrome on the one thou wow.
Right.
100%. Chris told me, he's like, bro, you don't have what you don't have because you don't think you deserve it.
Right.
And that really changed. Then the first month I left, bro, I made $260,000.
Right.
The first month I left.
Can I say something about the whole you starting with All In and even saying how it was a job and leaving it? So I've had a bunch of gigs growing up.
Right.
From like age 18, cell phones. I worked at a bill collection agency, you know, or debt collection agency. Debt collection agency taught me how to
sales, bro.
Well, not only sell, but skip trace.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then I went to work for a loan mod company in 2006 because somebody tried to convince me into doing lending, and market crashed. Couldn't do that. So I surrounded myself with real estate people like that. And then I did this marketing company where pretty much it's like those guys you see in Sam's Club, Costco, and Sam's.
Right.
That taught me not only sales, training, and leadership, but I built a team and started running my own stores. So then you tie all of that shit together. And then when real estate came,
it was easy.
It all plugged in as the same concept.
Yeah.
So essentially same thing with you, with what happened. As much as you were like, what am I going to do? Everything you've learned all built up to like this moment.
Yeah. And I was like completely like dumbfounded by it. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I can't believe that this like, is this a one hit wonder type deal?
Yeah.
Or what's going to happen? And I made $260K the first month because they hired me to help them with their event, and I had other stuff, and I did affiliate marketing. It's like, bro, people love you. You should be doing this. Leverage your brand, build your social media. Shouts out to Alex Sines. He would always tell me like, you need a personal brand like for yourself, right? Because you're super interesting. You're always doing cool shit.
Right.
People look up to you. So I started doing that. I started investing in myself, and that's like stuff started changing. But I invested in myself when I was in the car business. That's a whole nother story. But
you talk like mentorship and education, right?
Yeah, for sure, bro. It's like key. You can take the stairs, you can take the elevator.
Definitely like, an elevator.
Elevator, bro. Fuck yeah. You pay for people's mistakes and trials, tribulations, and
it's not just the information; it's what you do with the information, as well as the connections with the people. 100%. I see a lot of people. They go to this. We just went to a 2-day training, and there's a couple there. I don't even think we talked to them, and they didn't show up the next day.
They're like realtors, fix and flippers.
They do fix and flippers out of state.
A lot of people like the idea of being successful. They like the idea of learning, and they like the idea of networking. And they're like, man, if I just go to this, it's gonna change my life. But it's not that easy.
I think some people have an expectation
that's unrealistic,
and then they get there and they're disappointed, and because of the disappointed, it creates a negative sense in their mind,
and then they just block their own success.
Versus like, I've even seen some shit like what they're doing is this, but at the same time, it's brilliant, right? Like, I almost want to get mad about it, but I'm like, no, this is actually really smart.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Like, I can't even be mad. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
Right.
Like, it's all mindset.
It is 100% mindset. And after that, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to start consulting. Start a consulting firm. My brother can help me out. We'll partner up on that. Start doing that. Start doing affiliate marketing. And
you still have that till this day.
Yeah.
So you just do sales training for whoever.
I do sales training. I do mentorships for people like trying to build their business up, scale their business, stuff like that. And just all around, it's not just like one niche. Like I had a client who I helped him with his business. He has a, what is it called? A fucking junkyard company.
Wow.
Yeah. So he paid me money, and I went in there, poked holes and everything, put systems, processes, KPIs, helped him with the marketing.
Funny how that works, right?
It's all the same thing, bro. It's a yin yang. Sales is a yin yang. Every business is sales and marketing. That's it. If you master sales, you master marketing.
You can implement it anywhere.
Any business. So since then, I've done a couple different things. My main thing, obviously we wholesale, but my main thing is I'm not a wholesaler. I'm not. I'm an entrepreneur. right? Like I'll proudly say that. You can tell by my content, it's not really like real estate related. Most of it, it's just something that I do. It's one of the fucking arrows in my quiver, right? But I'm an entrepreneur. I like shit that makes money. There's three things: I have to make money, I have to have fun while I'm doing it, and I have to help people. If it doesn't check off all three of those boxes, I just won't do it. Doesn't matter how much money we make. If it hits up two and it doesn't hit the third one, I just won't do it. Right. So for me, some of the businesses that I do now are the consulting, real estate. I also have the main business is we started off. Everybody does cold callers, right? Everybody does cold callers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, every fucking guru. Mine are different. It's from the same place, but I trained them. Everyone does that, right?" I will say this: I do that as well, and it does good. But one of my friends, I reconnected with him recently. He had 3 Honda dealerships, and he had like all these people that kept quitting or not showing up because they're like Californians, right? Like super Karen-y, like, oh, I don't feel like going in today, PTO, all this shit, right? Like,
I don't know. FMLA. I feel like in San Diego, we were talking about OC's got a different grind mindset.
Oh yeah, it's like, if you fall behind, you'll end up in Riverside.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh fuck. That's good. That's good.
No shame to Riverside, but like OC, like it's a different game.
It is. It is. And everybody's rich and they're all wearing sweatpants and driving.
But they got there for a reason.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
So there's definitely a hustle.
I was like, hey, dude, why don't you try out like these callers? He's like, oh yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna try it out. And we trained some callers. We gave him some fucking dealership scripts and everything. It worked out. He made like 30 racks in his first weekend. And so then he's like, hey, dude, let's partner up on this. Let's create a business. My connections, your connections, it'll be good. Bro, that business is fucking thriving.
It's almost like a marketing for the sales.
Yeah. So we're doing BDC, Business Development Center. So like dealerships will hire and pay them like $32 an hour to come in and just call their database and set appointments all day.
Or you could just hire VAs for like,
or you can hire VAs
cheap.
Yeah, for super cheap. Just train them very well, have accountability.
And still get the 32.
Right. No, not the 32. We do it by package. So some dealerships pay 10 grand, some pay 16 grand per month on 6 months to year-long contracts. Yeah, with setup fees. And then
okay, hold on. Let me pitch you something real quick. You're getting my gears turning. So I was walking. I think you were with us. I was walking around with my girlfriend downtown, and these promoters give us a flyer, and they're like, "Hey, come into this place and get a free drink or something." Blah blah blah. I was like, maybe not right now. Follow me on Instagram.
Right.
And so I look up the Instagram. Come to find out, homegirl owns a Turo with a couple. She got like a Corvette and a Porsche on there, right? And immediately I start asking questions because I'm like, I want to learn. So why not why not get exotic cars, put them on? Because you see all the posts, right? These guys have all these different cars. They rent them out, probably get to drive with everyone they want.
And they're making money.
And it's paying for itself, right? As opposed to it being a liability, it's now cash flowing. Would you say you can essentially put a system and process into something? Do you understand how
everything? Yeah, I understand how it works. To everything. Every single business needs a system and process. Okay. It's the only way it's going to scale. Or else you're just hustling. You're just a hustler who's making money, who's barely getting by. Dante tried to put the mic directly in front of your mouth. Okay.
All right. So we're going either. I'm either too close or too far.
So like essentially every business is sales and marketing. So once you plug and play systems and processes in a good sales process, then you're going to make money, and then that money is going to go into marketing, and then that marketing is going to turn into leads, and the salespeople are going to close, and it just happens every single time. Okay. Then I know multiple businesses, insurance companies, cell phone companies, real estate companies, like it's the same thing.
At this point, we could just do consulting for any business as long as we can tie in this.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Out of all those business ventures that you're doing at the moment, what's like your favorite one or something that
my favorite one is actually consulting. I do like consulting.
You have fun teaching people.
I do. I have fun teaching people. And like my brother, he's probably on here.
He is on here. Shout out Randy. What up, Randy?
He kind of pisses me off a little bit because he sells the shit too cheap. And then I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like,
you see the value and he's just trying to close.
Yeah. And he's like, come on. He's like, bro, they're good people. We're going to help them out. I'm like, yeah, I get that too. I want to help people out. But you do know, like, you're my partner and like, I don't get to keep the whole thing and you don't keep the whole thing. So it's got to make sense. Don't make dollars, don't make sense. Right. So like, I do one-on-ones myself and I do some with him as well. And we got like, we just got some mentees that have been doing it for like 4 months. They made one deal in those 4 months, didn't get to the closing table, bought it too high. Okay. After 3 days hanging out with in my office for 8 hours each day, and going through everything, business plans, marketing plans, agreements for their salespeople, fucking accountability, KPIs, everything. They made 3 deals in their first fucking day of live calls. And yeah, bro, they're like, wow, this is crazy. And it's absolutely possible. The only thing that I did differently was say, hey, dude, like, this is what you need to expect. This is how, and this is how you're going to be able to inspect it if you have an agreement with them. And this is the marketing you need to do. This is how you need to do it. And these are the KPIs each individual person needs to do. And here's the sales process so that they're just not calling and blowing through your shit. And we trained them on it for 2 days, and then we did role playing like for fucking 5 hours straight. And then we get into it, and now they're doing good, bro. And they're like, wow, they're energized, bro. Like, you go from wanting to quit to like,
they're super wired. Super wired.
So it's the same thing with anything. And the dealership business is like, it's my favorite. So we got to a certain point where it's like, we got to give them reports, and we're like on Google Sheets. We had to hire a guy who's out here in San Diego. He's a 65-year-old bodybuilder guy who has connections. He's been in the car business. He was a headhunter for BDCs. Right. So he was a recruiter for those BDCs. Now he's selling them our product, and he's our VP of sales. And then it was like, how can we do more dealership, more volume? Like, because once you get in the group, it's very political. Like, you get past the red tape, you become a preferred vendor. Yeah. And then they put their stamp on you. So like, if somebody needs this, they're like, all right, cool. And these dealerships groups,
we kind of vouch for you, like, hey, Tino's the guy for this.
And these dealerships, bro, like, they're not like 1 or 2 dealerships. They're like groups of 5, groups of 15, groups of 40, you know? So we're working a deal on a big one. It's a nice 40 piece that goes through. It's good.
Right.
And I started doing research on these companies. There was one, it's called BDC Central. It recently sold. They got it up to 2,500 accounts, and they sold it for $111 million. Yeah. And guess how long?
30 days.
No, that's, come on,
6 months.
2,500 fucking accounts. It was only 2 years. Only 2 years. Yeah, 2 years and some change.
Takes 5 years to get out of the red for most businesses.
Yeah, bro. But think about this, dude. If you just work a little bit smarter and harder and apply everything you already know, Chris taught me this. You're in the wrong car.
He
in the wrong vehicle.
Chasing rabbits. I don't even know if I want to give that.
Oh yeah. If you chase a bunch of rabbits, you're not going to catch any. Right,
but if you hire a bunch of people to catch the rabbits for you, type stuff.
And that's what I learned from him. So now, like, all the business ventures I do, I have partners. My camera guy James out here, for example, he goes with me everywhere I go. He's one of my best friends.
We see him actually. The first time we seen you, or he seen you at Wholesale Live, James was like,
following me around.
And it's funny because
he's the guy who makes me look cool,
right? You know? Well, you're not the only one in there that had cameras, right? It was like everybody. So he's like, it's like influencer galore in here.
Hey, like, why is everyone vlogging? Like, what do I look at?
It's his first experience. He didn't see that before, so
it's crazy because like everyone's a fucking influencer now. Right? Everyone's got some clout. But I always look at it this way, like, people that have money want fame. People that have fame want money. It's like fucking sports players. They all want to be rappers, and rappers always hang out with sports players, right? It's the same deal. So like, I think of that. Like, I see all these people follow around with content. Some people drop content, but they just copy and paste what everyone else is saying and stuff. And like, no matter how much videos you post, if you're not popping, if you're just like not marketable, or you're just not that dude, you're just not that dude. Just be genuine.
Facts.
That's it. Stop trying to be like every other fucking dude.
Yeah.
You know, and just be yourself.
Straight up.
Everything I post on my page, you saw me last night. I was drunk as fuck, on a rickshaw, leaving Taco Cell Gordo and shit.
You know what though? I've drinking with him before, and he's fun to drink with because the conversations are high level.
Yeah.
It's different when you're at the bar with your friends and you guys are just talking about a bunch of bullshit. These aren't bullshit conversations. These are like, I'm drunk and the next day hungover, even though I'm feeling like shit. I'm like, I remember we had this conversation, right? Yeah. Hey, Ed wrote down a dope question here. How?
Yeah, we're gonna get to this. I'm sorry, bro.
No, it's all good. So here, because it's going with what you're saying now, so we can tie it in. Cool. Go ahead, Ed. I'm gonna let you.
If you would want to share, some of the most valuable lessons or experiences from your time in the military that have influenced your approach to businesses and sales.
To just be tenacious and never give up. Never give up. There was so many times where I thought I was gonna fucking die. Like, I'd be crying, thinking, dude, this is kind of it for me. And ironically, I was telling my guys last night, we're at the hookah bar and shit, and we were talking about like my experiences in the military, and I'm like, I always thought that I was gonna die in war.
Yeah,
I had accepted
almost like it was like Lieutenant Dan,
where he wanted to die leading troops.
Yeah,
and I thought and he's like, just leave me, let me die an honorable death, right?
Yeah,
and like I thought that's something that would most likely happen. And I was not okay with it, but
it was like your destiny. You felt
like I accepted the possibility that it could happen. For me, but I did learn one thing while I was in the military is like, it's really, life is not that hard. It's not.
It's only complicated if you make it that way.
100%. And you can be successful just by even doing the bare minimum. I learned that in the Army, believe it or not. Like overachievers, there's some overachievers, right? And they end up being successful, or they end up just being corny. People don't like them. But I'm gonna be honest.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. I just, I had a couple ideas.
Some people just do the most, right? Like, but I'll say this, that if you just do the bare minimum the right way, you're gonna thrive. Like, life is designed for you to win.
I feel like you have a strong like championship mentality, because I hear that a lot from a lot of like athletes.
Yeah,
like, you know, just do or die.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you have no choice, right? Like, it's so funny. Like, somebody said, I think it was like, I want you to close a deal, and if you can't close a deal, like, I want you to picture, like, if you don't close this next deal, if you don't make 10 cars, we're gonna kill your whole family.
Or there's a gun to your head right now, and if you don't do it, they're gonna pull the trigger.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna let your family die, or are you gonna sell 10 cars? Like, that's kind of extreme, right? But like, at the same time, you have to kind of have that mentality that like, hey, no one's gonna fucking save you, bro. No one's gonna save you.
What was that video you sent me where it's like women inspirational videos are like, you're a queen? He's like you're a queen, and then with guys it's like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not a fucking man maximalist, but I'll say this. Yeah, you're 100% right. Like, women just got the fucking... They're out here fucking going to Beyonce concerts, living their best life, mimosas.
And I watched the video. He said it started like almost spitting my food out, because it's so true.
Yeah, bro. And like, guys have to deal with all this, a lot of stress, right? And they compartmentalize it, because that's what we're taught is being a macho ego guy and being strong and the rock
masculinity
of the family. And say, this shit's so crazy though. You're absolutely right. But
think about the, sorry to interrupt, but what do you think about the Tate brothers going along the lines with like the masculinity?
I'll say this. I've done, and this is a whole, like, I've gone down the rabbit hole. I've researched religions for so long. I researched
ancient history and all that too.
Yeah, super heavy, like extremely.
I like
heavy.
Those conversations. I got a buddy. He got Vesper. Vesper will be like, "You want to battle?" And then by battle, because he did the same thing.
Yeah.
So they'll do the
So extreme, like, bro. Most Christians haven't even read the Bible and the whole thing, right? I read it twice. I read the Old Testament, because that's the real one, right? With Genesis and the stories of the angels and having sex with people and Nephilim and giants and 600 years and incest, like all that stuff that people don't talk about. Like, I do research on it, and I did multiple religions. And I will say this: the Tate brothers are kind of extreme, but they're not. One thing that I did learn,
they're almost practical in a world that's unpractical.
That's impractical.
Which is almost like it was predicted to be this way.
And the reason why is because we've normalized so many things that before was taboo or was like frowned upon, just because the right people at the right place felt a certain way and were able to voice their opinion and push the narrative to be able to change kind of perception of everything. So we kind of have to accept a lot of different things that wasn't acceptable before. But I would say this: Islam is one of the religions that it's like black or white. It's black or white, and those brothers they're Islamic, they practice, and it, sure, like there is some haram that they do, but nonetheless, like they have their core values, and that because I started learning Islam in Iraq. It's one of the religions that doesn't change no matter what, right? But bad apples in every single religion, right? Like I grew up Catholic, did my first confirmation, all that shit, right? Catechism, all that stuff, and then I went into like Christianity and did all that stuff, and I just realized that I don't really need to necessarily go to a church to pray to a higher thing. But going back to the Andrew Tate thing, because I'm going crazy. A lot of stuff he says I agree with. Some of the delivery on it I don't agree with. Right?
No, like, what you say is how you say it.
That's exactly.
So he might have a good point, but because he didn't bring his point at a right way, now it's like canceled.
Yep. Then it becomes a moot point.
Yeah.
It becomes a moot point because it's how you say
that could even be like in sales.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
You might be making a good point to your seller or whoever you're selling.
But it's how you get your message across. Do you have children's gloves on when you're saying it? Are you being an asshole? My sales process is pretty straightforward. It's logic based. It's not pain points because I think like if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And if I can close somebody based on numbers that they're giving me,
right?
Kind
of using them against their own words.
Then I'm like, hey, Dante, these are the numbers you gave me. It needs this. These are the prices you told me that you were quoted.
At this point, you're making yourself look like an asshole, or
right?
They're gonna get
and I'm like, Dante,
that
like,
you made them look like an asshole.
Like these are the numbers you gave me. You wouldn't lie to me, right, Dante?
Yeah.
You know, when you ask a seller if they wouldn't lie to you or any person individual, you're kind of testing their integrity. And what are they going to say? Yeah, I fucking lied.
Yeah. Oh, well, you got me.
Right. They're going to be like, no,
has that ever happened? Has that ever happened though?
Never. Like, never. It's just like it's like when people post their newborn baby on Facebook. Nobody's gonna be like, "Hey, look at this baby. It's fucking ugly." Like, bro, newborn babies, bro. Let's be honest, bro. I have kids, so I can say this, right? Like, when they're born, they take these pictures of them all swaddled up, and their fucking fingers are all like this, and they're
like, "Look how cute they are."
They're like, "Yeah, cute." And everybody's like, "Oh."
I'm sorry. I love my Ariana. I love you, girl, but she came out looking like an alien.
But that's how babies are not the most.
I was like, this was
things.
A co-head, and I remember my mom being like, "She's so beautiful," and I'm like, "What are we looking at? Are we looking at the same thing here?"
But let's be honest, nobody's gonna go on Facebook and be like, "Dude, your baby
is ugly."
Yeah, your baby looks like the chupacabra. Like, no one's gonna say that, right? It's the same deal. Like when I'm asking a seller, like, "Oh, describe to me your house." Like, no one's gonna be like, "Oh, it's a shithole. I can't believe I lived here for 5 years. Like, my health is deteriating because I'm exposed to this shithole." Like, no one's gonna say that. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's livable. I've been living here. It's a great house." But everyone has different standards, right? And then taking back to the Andrew Tate shit, like, it's just standards, right? Like, if you have standards of certain things, then that's what it is. My friends, and James was gonna come, but one of my best friends, Jesus, in there, he's like my unofficial barber. He does a lot of things. He's very talented, but he's a lender.
Y'all are like an entourage. Have you ever seen Entourage?
Yeah. My crew is like 5-6
I
people.
love that show, by the way. It gives you a really good depiction of Hollywood, but you guys literally have like your own little entourage.
Yeah, we all wear black.
Every time I see y'all,
everyone has a purse. And,
it's the same
because
people.
It's fucking a gun, right?
Yeah.
We're all strapped.
Literally a blicky bag.
Yeah, it's a blicky bag. Yeah. So you know, I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm already coming out. I already got the place. I got the fucking Tesla. Just come. Like, I'm coming anyway. Just come." He's like, "Yeah, all right, let's do it." Right. So
they haven't been out. I was talking to them when you guys were in the bathroom too. I was like, "How you guys like it?" They're like, "We love it here."
Yeah.
And I was like, "You haven't even been everywhere yet."
No. but I totally forgot what I was fucking talking about.
Andrew Tate and the delivering and the sellers not admitting to and then being out with your friends and your entourage.
Yep. So what I learned from Chris, and you guys can relate to this because we were talking about it on the way here, is he taught me not to be greedy, and he taught me that the whole rabbits thing. He taught me that you can partner up with people, and as long as they're good operators, it takes a lot off your plate.
Right.
So like my camera guy, he was my camera guy for 3 years. I was paying him every month. And I'm like, "Hey, dude, why don't we do this together? Like, why don't we do this? I'm not going to pay you a business,
but
we can pay each other."
Your boys on individually to their own little thing.
Absolutely. So now every single person in my office is a partner in some capacity. And of course, I have other ventures.
Work with me, not for me.
Right. Because, bro, it's not, bro, come on. Who wants to be fucking rich and be the only guy who's rich in your crew?
Right.
Like, think about it. Like, you're the guy who's paying for everything. Like, you're the guy who's fucking, you know, "Hey, let's do this."
Even in Entourage, Turtle started doing his own thing.
Yep. Turtle started doing his own thing. It's the same deal. Like, and if I can, bro, there's no greater feeling than making money with your friends, man. No greater feeling. And everybody, with family or friends.
Everybody gets to eat.
And going back to like what you were saying, like your mom's your biggest supporter. Like most people don't have that, you know.
All I had was my mom, bro. I was a single mom growing up.
Yeah.
And so like I've gotten into fights because of my mom.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in an environment where being hostile was normal. And I didn't realize it was not normal until I moved out of state and told people some of my stories, and they're like,
"What the fuck?" They're like, dude, this guy Dante's crazy.
and it's not right. And it's what I've come to realize, it was just the environment I grew up in. We grew up in an environment where, you know, you get respected or you take your respect,
right.
and that led to
it's fight or flight.
Yeah, but it was like, it was anger based. So then sometimes you wouldn't be thinking straight. And I used to have this mindset like, I'm gonna get shot and killed one day because I'm gonna end up fighting and beating the shit out of the wrong person, and then they're gonna blast me, right? But then I've had some stuff happen in my life where, right, and that's where surfing comes in.
That's your outlet.
Mm-hmm.
That's your relaxation, your time, right?
I get told that I'm a hippie.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But I'm okay with it too. But I've learned to like take a step back and actually like not allow the anger get to me, right? And take a deep breath, and it now translates into everything else.
Yeah. So one of my friends and now partner in a business, he was in the cartel, and he served 17 years in prisons and
long time
in Mexico. Yeah. And he's now my personal trainer.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But we spend a lot of time together, on and off in the gym or outside the gym. Like we talk a lot and everything. And he's still kind of sometimes kind of stuck in that mentality. And I had to tell him, hey dude, you can't let anybody fuck up your day.
Straight up.
If you say hi to somebody and they ignore you because they think you're above you, or you have tattoos all over your body,
that's their problem, not yours.
Their problem, not yours. And you need to realize that you are you.
Right.
And what you put out is what you get back. So like they're not reciprocating the energy you're giving to them, so they don't deserve that. So instead of getting mad and letting, like, my fiance knows this, bro. Like, even if we have disagreements, knock on wood, it don't fuck up my day, bro. Like, like Tino's still gonna thrive. You know what I mean? Sharktino's still gonna
like, I don't know what this attitude you're having, but like, regroup and let me know when you're done.
Like, hey, look, we'll reconvene. We'll circle back at the end of the day.
I'm not feeling this energy. To be continued.
This is not good for the rest of my day. Let me hop into my Lambo and go have a good day. You know? So that's kind of how like I am. I realize that you can't let external validation or pushback bother you.
Yeah. When I did the DirecTV gig, okay, we were in like Costco or Sam's Club, and you're in somebody that's coming to get eggs, trying to convince them to get DirecTV, right?
Right.
And I don't remember where I learned this from, but what I've come to realize is when somebody's being an asshole to you, it's for one of two reasons. They're either having a bad day, or they hate their life, 100%. And neither one is your fault.
It's not. And here, you know what's the kill them with kindness thing. Like I go to like drive through shit. Like my kids want Happy Meals on the way home or something, so I stop, bro. And like sometimes people are just like, they're just miserable.
You can see it, right? Like, oh man, he must not like his job.
Yeah, they're being dicks. And I'll tell them straight up, hey brother,
you having a bad day?
I'll tell them, hey bro, is everything cool, man?
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, like, what the fuck? Why do you care? Why are you asking me this? I'll tell them straight up, hey man, like, you don't have to be here.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this.
That might be a game-changing conversation for them too.
Yeah, and I'll tell them straight up. I said, hey, look, like, and then so like I've had people like be rude and just like fucking throw my card back at me. You know, like, and I'm like, hey, dude, like you don't have to be rude about it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're having a bad day, I get that, but don't let it affect everything else.
Straight
at the
up.
end of the day, your problems are still there when you leave the door.
Right. It's not going to do any. Getting mad is not going to do anything to change it.
In fact, it hinders it because you're not thinking clearly. You're pissed off. You're in a bad headspace, and it's just like, bro, I don't think I'm a hippie or anything, but I do affirmations. I do meditate to myself, and
some people might think that's cliche, but it works.
I don't do all the crazy shit. I don't do the cold plunge, the grounding my feet in dirt,
my
and
cold plunge is the ocean,
beads and shit like that. I don't do that.
Rubbing on beads.
But
who does that? Where's that from?
But I will tell you this. I will tell you this, that I do believe in manifestation.
Okay.
With hard work. I do believe in having a good attitude, a good mental space, mindset, because it's the foundation of everything you do.
Right.
Years ago, when I was married at the time, I was a piece of shit. I was going out, I was partying, I was fucking newfound wealth. Like fucking going to strip clubs, doing all that bad stuff that, you know, I think it's maybe karma what happened.
Right. It might have, had you done some things differently, maybe not have panned out the way that it did.
Right. But then maybe it might not have panned out the way that it did.
Man, listen,
so
this is what I say.
Of the coin.
God's plan.
God's plan. 100%. Whether you believe in this God or that God or this God,
whatever you want to call it,
still a higher energy, right? So a higher source of authority.
There's a reason for everything.
And I do believe this, that once I shifted my belief system into what I put out is what I get back, and always do right by people, always do the best I can possibly do and help people, then it seriously changed my life. I learned that if you're broke, or if you're a piece of shit and you're broke and then you get rich, you're just a bigger piece of shit. Now, if you're a good person, genuinely a good person, who's selfless, who wants to help people, and you come into wealth or rich or a good financial gain, you start to realize that it's not really how much money you can make, it's how many people you can impact in a positive way, how many lives you can change, whether it's minuscule, like, you know, doubling and passing to the next person, or it's actually helping somebody in need.
It could be something small. Like I paid for my seat on a flight, and the guy comes up and says, "Hey, can my girl sit here?" And I'm like, "Bro, I just paid for the seat. You know what? Pay it forward."
Yeah.
They're like, "Thank you so much. Don't thank me. Just pay it forward."
Yeah.
And so energy, I'm a big fan
100%, bro.
And like energy attracts like energy. So I 100% agree with you with everything you're saying. Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, dude, that's a game changer, man. Once I started realizing that if you just do good by people and genuinely, sometimes it doesn't
not even
pan
expecting
out.
anything in return.
Yeah, dude. I connected 2 people and got 100K wire. By connecting 2 people.
Well, see, that was like us in man, we had like a almost like a streak where shit was just happening.
You're like, what the fuck? Unexpected. Right.
And we were just like, but we were still at the same time, we were having fun too.
Oh, it's karma. And it's part of those 3 things.
Stuff's just aligning, it's happening, and then, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of all that stuff. Very firm.
And I'm such a believer that now it's like my mantra. It's like the 3 boxes. Gotta make money. Gotta have fun while I'm doing it. Gotta help people, right?
Make money, have fun what you're doing, and help people.
And if you're helping people, and if you're genuinely, like, you're gonna have fun if you're helping people. At least I do, because I enjoy people's journey and people's
seeing them win.
Yeah, dude, I'm not a fucking hater.
Like this guy, it took him 6 months to get his first deal, and I think I was telling you this off. You know, he struggled for a month. He got his contract, fell through, and instead of like quitting, he was like, let's just go get another one. And I was like, hell yeah, this kid's gonna make it. And it took him 6 months, but then finally 6 months hit, and
the rest is history.
Yeah. And he's like an all-in type guy too. He's like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's go
run it. We're just gonna make it happen.
Straight up. And so I'm like, I see that, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna. And so he's kind of goes. We're like, he don't like this, but it's Batman and Robin.
I like that.
He's like, why I gotta be Robin for?
Yeah, he's like,
because you're 22. I owe him a steak dinner because he cheated this month.
Like a running competition, right? It's like every 100. The goal
100
is
miles.
to hit 100 miles every single month.
Right.
And, you know, whoever does the highest.
I see you've been winning.
Always.
He's 20. Man, I'm not gonna make no excuses.
Bro,
I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna take this ass whooping like a
guy
man.
Who's 85 years old. He's a retired. He has a practice for law. 85 years old. The dude has a fucking 6-pack and can like. Yeah, so I don't necessarily think it's age.
Yeah,
but you know, let's do this, right?
We'll go do 20 miles tomorrow.
We've all been fit, right? We've all been fit here. We can agree on that, and we've all been fat here. We can agree on that as well.
Yes.
The only difference is what we do,
mindset,
and what we eat, and what our mindset is.
What else we got on here, Ed?
Yeah, let's ask some more questions, dude. You guys wrote all these questions down, and
I you know what? We may have knocked some of these out.
Good, just in talking.
And that's what I like, raw.
Cool. I know you briefly mentioned the Lambo that you got. What's kind of been your favorite car?
Man, I've had a bunch of cars, right? Like,
if you go on this guy's Instagram, he's got a bunch of.
I've had a bunch of cars, and I will say my favorite.
Oh, free gifts.
My favorite. Oh, nice.
What's a gift?
Well, I forgot to. I forgot. No, go ahead. Answer your question.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My favorite car to date is probably I'll probably say the Lambo.
So far,
yeah.
You just keep getting every car, and then after you get it, you're like, all right, what's next?
Yeah. So like now I've always been a sucker for a Ferrari 458. It's the last naturally aspirated V8. that Ferrari's made.
They're also like one of the fastest cars out of all the cars.
They're so high pitched. It sounds like an F1. And what every gearhead wants is like that sound, right? Trumpet. Yeah, it's like.
So one thing I've learned about exotic cars, as sexy as they are, I'm a big guy, so when I get in, it's like go karts. My buddy had a Gallardo, he had a Gallardo. And I got in, I hit my head. I was like, and then I was like,
dude, like. But over the years, I've learned how to get in out of these cars. And it's like, I call it the one-legged squat, because when you get out, you turn and you put your left leg in, and it can't be too far out because it hurts your hand, your fucking quad.
Pull
and then if you have it too close in, it's all hamstring.
And you're down low like a go-kart. Yeah, so it's like,
and you don't want to look weird or awkward and like push your way out the roof. So I do the one-legged squat. I already got it kind of meshed where I need to be, and I put my leg out, and then I just push really hard, and I'm like, don't give out, you know what I'm saying? And I get up, but so I look really cool getting in and out of it now. But before I was like, bro,
it's like there's a whole method to it.
But cars are my passion. Sorry, cars and watches my passion. I have a fucking $5,000 sim racing rig with a fucking chair that moves, a VR2, I'm in the car, driving pedals.
You feel like you're in there. Have you ever actually done racetracks with your stuff?
Yes, I have.
Would you say, okay, let me ask you this, because I've come to, with a lot of people I know that got exotic cars, what starts off new ends up being the new normal. Would you say after a while it's like you get it out of your system? Yeah.
So the crazy thing about it is like, you like obsess and you visualize you hitting these goals or achievements. They're just trophies, right? They're just trophies. It's a scoreboard for your own internal pleasure. Like I don't post all this shit in my lifestyle to flex on people. I just post it because it's stuff I genuinely like.
Yeah, but people could take it as like
I've had somebody take it like that. His name is Ryan Overcash. We ended up becoming really good friends.
Wow.
After that, and I've had him on my stage before. It's crazy, but most people that don't know me think I'm a fucking asshole. They think, this guy, he's fucking posting like he's rich and doing all this shit, and he's just, it sucks. I'm sitting here working at Jack in the Box, blah, 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 blah. Like, bro, I didn't go out there and tell you to follow me. Like, you followed me, right? But not only that, but this is the shit I like to do. It's genuinely what, bro. I don't do like, oh my God. I don't.
This is going to be a 2-hour special.
Sorry. I don't do the normal shit that people post, right? Like, they always post like real estate only. And then they'll post like, hey, got up for the gym, like the 75 hard guys, right? And when you're on 75 hard, everyone fucking needs to know you're on 75 hard. Like,
I just go to the gym.
Right.
I just say, hey, I'm at the gym at 5 a.m.
Which there's nothing wrong with that, because it motivates you, and you never know who's watching, right?
Right. But people follow it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
They're motivated. They're like, hey, man, it's good to see you in the gym. Like you're seeing results. It's working.
They're noticing.
But I've had people that are like, hey, man, you inspire me. I've been following you for 5 years. Somebody told me that this morning. Like, hey, you inspire me. Seeing what you've done in the last 5 years is like really inspired me. I quit my job.
Your journey.
Done this. Yeah. And dope. So like, I wasn't always driving a Lambo or in $100,000 watch, fucking, running around with an entourage and doing all this cool shit. Like, bro, there was times where I'm like, fuck, dude, I wonder what's going to happen. Like, because here's the difference, bro. I had imposter syndrome really bad. Even though I came into the money, I wasn't making that kind of income to support the lifestyle.
Right.
Now I'm making more income. So it's like, all right, cool. This is what I like to do. And then even then, my friends, some of them need to make 115 grand before they make $1.
Right.
I don't have an overhead like that.
Yeah.
At all.
That overhead, we actually do that as polls. Like, do you want to, although we're considering getting an office now.
You know how much my bills are? 10 grand.
That's for business expenses or all together?
Everything.
Yeah.
Business and personal.
That's not bad.
But
what would it be in California?
My eating my eating out is like fucking 35 to 5K a month. I do.
Damn.
Yeah. I love restaurants. All right.
Hey, shout out to everybody watching.
Who's still in that we can give some free shit to?
Who's still watching that wants to get some free shit? And
drop a fire emoji if you're
drop a fire emoji. My boy Tino's gonna hand out $5,000 worth of free game.
The first 2 people to drop a fire emoji.
First people, who's
no, my brother doesn't count.
Randy doesn't count. Somebody drop a fire emoji. Carmen's in here laughing. That's my girl. Hey, Carmen, I love you. I wonder if she was because we were making fun of her, if we were just making jokes. Randy, stop making fire emojis. All right, we got Jay and Rocha.
Okay, cool. Shoot me a DM.
I'm gonna
shoot Dante a DM.
I'm gonna screenshot. Boom.
All right, cool.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Jay Hernandez. He's actually a rainmaker.
Jay Hernandez.
My boy's a
it sounds
rainmaker.
familiar, but
So
hey, he's got a great last name.
Yeah, he looks like Klay Thompson. And
Oh, really?
He looks like. Can y'all hear me? If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up emoji.
Jay Hernandez, bro. I think I met him before.
Probably
years ago.
He's a big rainmaker. He's a big rainmaker. He's done. I don't know if you heard of Gary Garcia, but his partner's Gary Garcia. I've met Gary. Gary came out here. He's a pretty cool guy. But we got. Oh, look at Cecilia's in here too, trying to get some free stuff. Leo, sorry, Leo, you're a little late, bro.
Oh man.
So we got Rocha _ XX7. I screenshotted.
This is what I'll do, right? Because there's some more people. Anybody that wants it, that's here right now.
DM him.
DM me. Take a screenshot right
didn't
now.
Count my,
take a screenshot so it shows
Cecilia
that you're here.
Said didn't count my fire
Shoot
emoji.
me a DM and I'll give it to you. I'm just not going to do the phone calls. I'll do the phone calls with the first 2 people, and then the rest of the people I'll give you all the free shit.
Yachty's in here. Oh, that's Yahida. That's my cousin. My cousin from Seattle.
Sick.
DM Sharktino. Oh, here. Let me go ahead and pin. Randy put it in here. We're gonna pin it, guys.
Thank you.
DM him. Say that you saw it. Jay Hernandez. We're gonna have. Who was it? It was Jay originally, and
Rocha,
then,
you said.
Rocha, and then for the other ones,
and
just
then anyone
DM
else,
him.
I'll give him the rest of the stuff. But we'll set up something on the calendar. We'll put it on the calendar, and we'll go through it, start to finish. Anything I can help out.
My man. Is there anything else you want to tell the people before we go, bro?
Hey, just you are enough. You are enough. Don't idolize these people you see online. Don't learn from them if they're truly helping.
Straight up.
Do not compare yourself to these people. Comparison is the thief of joy. And I will tell you this: most of them, not to talk shit, are not who they are in their 15-second story slides. Okay, so just make sure that when you meet somebody, you meet them for them, not for who they portray themselves online. I'm the same motherfucker on a podcast with my
He's
fiance.
cooler in real life. Don't let this fool you. He's cooler in real life.
I like to have a good time. I like to make money with friends and family, and I like to help people. So just know that you're enough. You're good enough. And if you don't have direction, find somebody who has the compass that already fucking dropped the jelly beans on the way there, right?
Straight up.
Like these guys. Follow them. Get with them.
We're trying to figure it out too still. So we don't know all the answers, but if we don't,
but you're further than most people.
We know somebody who does.
Right. And you're just like a couple relationships away typically from making $1 million, man. Like
straight up.
Life has changed so much just based on relationships for me. So just always be meeting people. You are enough. Even if you're embarrassed because you're like, well, I'm just getting started. These guys are fucking shake hands, man. Shake hands.
Get in the room.
Yeah, get in the room. You can't. It's just like the lotto, bro. The Arizona lotto. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers kicking game. Every time they have their commercial on the radio, they're like, you can't win if you don't play. I'm like, fuck.
Ultimate salesman.
$1 billion winner just bought like a real estate property in like LA for like 42 million
in the hills, right?
I would go to Costa Rica. You got the right way of going to Costa Rica. I like that. Guys, thank you for tuning in today. This podcast is brought to you by PropStream. If you guys don't know about PropStream, send me a DM. I'm going to send you a free tutorial. I'm also going to give you free 7 days. I am an affiliate. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Guys, use it. It's a great product.
We live on it. It does
help with comps. It does help with data. They're fucking amazing.
We live on it. Guys, we're out. Thank you for watching.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys.